In order to do this,
Ready? Here we go.
it took the magic of this, a cutting-edge special effects studio based in the tiny Northern California industrial community of Emeryville, Atomic Fiction. In this quiet studio, designers created 400 visual effects shots for the Robert Zemeckis film Flight, starring Denzel Washington.
We're in an uncontrolled dive.
You'll find a wonderful history of magical special effects at Atomic Fiction.
I don't have it.
Pirates of the Caribbean, Transformers, Dark of the Moon, and Sin City. But the one thing you won't find at this computer design studio are racks of computers.
For us, rendering in the cloud was one of the first things we could check off our list in terms of reducing overhead and not having to have hot, depreciating equipment sitting around.
The special effects wizards at Atomic Fiction do their rendering on Macs powered by Autodesk software. But the heavy lifting is done on Amazon servers distributed all over the world. Atomic Fiction is just one of the hundreds of thousands of companies reimagining their infrastructure needs because of Amazon Web Services. And what a list, from Shazam to Pinterest, from NASA to Netflix. Rebuilding their computer infrastructure on top of the infrastructure of Amazon creates a whole new world of possibilities, and the numbers are amazing. AWS is used by hundreds of thousands of companies in 190 countries. That's almost as many nations as the member states of the United Nations. But all that power in the cloud, at the end of the day, comes down to a couple of business people in a little warehouse in Emeryville who, like all business people, are doing what they do, trying to sell something for more than it costs to make. Brian Tudhope says the rendering at AWS cost him only about 25 grand for Flight. Building his own render farm would have cost $1 million.
We started the business with the cloud in mind, absolutely. We knew that starting a visual effects company in this kind of market, in this day and age, we needed to find technologies like this.
Well, Atomic Fiction is all about finding new and sort of more creative ways of making really, really high-end visual effects for films. We've been lucky enough to work on some big movies just in our short existence. What's enabled us to actually work on these films and be such a small, growing studio and working on these big projects is we're trying to be really creative with how we're structuring the company. And we're also making really, really heavy use of the cloud for all of our rendering and our heavy computing tasks. And what that means is we can scale up to really, really big size facility computing when we need to, and then scale back down to almost nothing when we don't. And it's a really cost-effective and scalable and fast way of working, and that's been kind of what's enabled us to make, you know, Digital Domain or ILM quality work that fits in with their work in those films, but with a much, much smaller crew. Well, you know, we've been using the cloud for rendering for about the last year, and currently we're using Amazon's cloud, and you know, that's going to maybe change and grow in different ways, but really it's all, the concept is the same. Essentially we have all of our data locally, and then we've been partnering up with a company called Zinc that they're eventually going to be able to offer this cloud rendering as a service that everyone will be able to use. And what Zinc does is it says, okay, the artist has this shot data in their local, you know, in their shot folder on the server, and it synchronizes it up to Amazon's cloud, and it's all encrypted and secure. It manages all the computers that are doing the rendering up in the cloud, and then once those renders are done, as soon as frames finish, it downloads automatically those frames back to the user's folder on the server. So to them, it's just like rendering on a normal farm. They don't have to do anything different, and the turnaround time is just about as fast, because the second and third time that they render, only the things that have changed need to go up into the cloud. So they're very, very small and quick updates that are usually no longer than 30 seconds, a minute, maybe you know, a few minutes for a really complicated shot. So it's a very, very quick way of working for artists. We actually had an artist working for us a couple months ago that came to me after working at Atomic Fiction for 2 weeks and said, you know, hey, you know, I've been wondering, like, when am I going to get to start using this cloud thing that you guys have all over your website? It sounds really interesting. And I said, well, you have been using it ever since you started, and it was just so seamless that they didn't know, and that's what Zinc provides for us.